Welcome back to the Dump and Chase podcast on 88.1 FM WLRA The Start, Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois. Reid and Rebecca once again back in the studio after a little bit of a longer break, but we are now joined by our guest, goaltender Justin Carricato. Justin, thank you so much for hopping in the studio with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
So we had you on last semester. Correct, Rebecca? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, pre-COVID, because that threw a whole wrench in everything, which is wonderful. But we had a great talk with you then, and we had you on the week after Colton, I believe.
Yes.
So we got to hear from the goalies back-to-back, which brought forth some great responses in some of the questions. So, Rebecca, I think we start off with some of our favorite moments from that interview, because there were some good ones.
I think my favorite would be the dinner guest where you and Colton gave the same exact answer.
See, sometimes I just tell Colton to get out of my head. He has a really bad habit of doing that, so we'll see. He still hasn't figured it out.
He's just like stuck in your head constantly?
Yeah, he is. I think about him a lot.
Could you guys both said, remind me of what the answers were, Rebecca, because now I'm
They
blanking
both
on the dinner
said
guest.
Stephen Hawking with
That's it.
pasta and meatballs.
Which was like just, I don't know, there's something magical in the air that night.
Colton just likes sauce and meatballs, so I think that's what's the most magical thing about it. And I think about that quite often.
So Colton did graduate, though. So you do have a new goalie partner this year.
I do.
Which we talked about off air. Colton will still forever be in your heart, so to speak.
He will forever be in my heart.
Kind of talk to us through this transition with a new goalie partner, kind of how you guys get kind of accustomed to each other, being in a goalie tandem, what that whole process is like.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a delicate process when you start talking about goalies, but this kid is a freshman. I'm a senior. So the best thing for me to do is continue what I've been doing for my previous years of college hockey, and then, setting a good example for him to follow along. Obviously, talking to him in the locker room as we're warming up, be like, hey, man, what's going on? Just ask about his day. A couple times I've asked him to hang out, just because that goalie relationship is very important. And we are 4 years apart from each other. There's no way around that. Colton and I were only a year apart from each other, so it made it a little bit easier. I had college experience already, but he really doesn't know what he's getting into. So just kind of getting him accustomed to the process, just kind of taking him under my wing.
Sure. And one other thing with that is that you being a senior, you have 1 year of playing time with him, kind of to build that relationship. So I imagine that's a little bit trickier as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. I actually have 2 more years. I've decided.
More years?
I decided
is this
earlier
the
this summer.
Reveal?
Yep, I am
Look
fifth
at
yearing.
this.
Decided to, because of everything going on with COVID, I
Sure.
decided to stick around and do my grad program.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you'll be back for a second year with this new goaltender.
Yes, I will.
So 2 years, so a little bit more time to build that kind of connection. But regardless, even after those 2 years, you're leaving, and now it's his kind of assuming that obviously the team will bring in another goalie to fill the vacancy left from you, but it's kind of his job now to acclimate that new goalie to the team. So it's kind of that rotation that I can imagine can get interesting as a goalie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's kind of my job these next couple of years is obviously to keep playing how I should be for the team to get success, but also to teach him everything about the team. That way, when I am gone, he can take it. It's going to be his net. I won't be here. Obviously, I'll always be here, but it'll be his net. I just want to be a good example for him.
Sure. So we've been thinking of creative ways to interview the new freshman on the team eventually on the show. And for you, being a aviation major, I know Rebecca's talked to you about this a little bit. We had the idea of going up on a plane and interviewing the new goaltender while you're flying the plane. Is that something that's possible? I know we've kind of been in talks with it, but there's a little bit of details to figure out. Can you kind of walk us through if that even possible with COVID? Can we have 4 people in an airplane?
So, yes, it is possible.
It is.
What I'd probably do is go away from Lewis. So I would personally rent an airplane from somewhere else, just because it's a little bit easier dealing with everything, rather than Lewis. Aviation has some pretty strict policies, and obviously we'd be doing the safe thing but going somewhere else might make it just a little bit easier.
Sure.
That way we really don't have to worry too much about like the nitty-gritty details. Like obviously we'll do the cleaning and, we'll abide by all their rules.
Of course.
So it will be safe, but we can make it happen.
Where do you go to rent an airplane?
How
does that work?
I usually go to Joliet Airport or
Okay.
Bolingbrook.
So, like, are these airplanes that other people own that they aren't using that they rent out, or like who owns these airplanes that you rent out?
So in some cases, yes. A lot of the planes that I rent out are just from other flight schools.
Okay.
So they're using them, and they're not flight schools similar to Lewis, where it's a university program. They're trying to make money however they can.
Got it. Okay. So I didn't know like where you, like, I don't know, you hear like renting a car, but you never hear about renting an airplane. So that's real interesting.
And what's wild is it's actually easier to rent a plane than it is a car.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get like hit with a ton of like hidden costs if you're under the age of 25 with
No,
the plane?
you don't. All you have to pay it. So like you pay for like an hourly rate for the plane and then the fuel.
Okay.
That's all you have to pay for.
How much is it hourly? Like how much are we looking at for renting this plane if we
it
want to do
depends.
this? Okay.
Probably going to be like $130 for the hour.
Okay.
Which really isn't too bad. That's really cheap considering what it'd be at most places.
That's less than what I was expecting, I'll admit, especially like
Yeah,
going up
absolutely.
on a plane. And okay, we were talking about planes and stuff in general, and like so like a Lewis plane. What kind of like mileage does it have? Like how far can you go?
So there's like a lot of factors that go
Sure.
into it, but like I'll put it into kind of like the simplest terms possible. You could get about it's usually about 5 hours of flight time.
Really? Okay.
But that 5 hours, depending on like the wind and all
Sure.
all that sort of stuff, you could probably get about 700 to 800 miles,
Okay. So you could go
which is
quite far.
tremendous.
That is,
Yeah.
especially with a small plane like that. I figured that they wouldn't be able to go that far.
Yeah,
That's really
exactly.
interesting. Okay. I know that that Jenny has some plane questions. So we can bring her on the show. Jenny was with us last week and asked Parcel some hockey questions. But Jenny's returning with some plane questions. So we'll turn it over to her.
So I know nothing about life at all. So like how does a plane fly? It makes no sense to me how it like just goes up.
So, if you've ever seen somebody pull a rabbit out of a hat, it's kind of the same thing. It's just called magic.
It's just magic.
No, I'm kidding. So like
Wow,
there's a
my life has been a lie.
okay. So can you see through the window? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Right. So think of like your hand out of a car window. Right. When your hand is like this, nothing's gonna happen. Plane wings are slightly angled. So as you go faster, that air hits the bottom of it and pretty much pushes it up. If you look at the top of a wing, it's also curved and the bottom isn't. The reason for that is air goes faster over the top of it, so the air is at a lower pressure. Underneath it, it's at a higher pressure, so that high literally pushes up on it, or the top of it pretty much sucks it up. And that's literally how it gets pulled up.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The more you know.
Interesting.
So that is why a very large plane, like a passenger plane, has such large wings, so it can lift that massive an airplane up.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
Got it.
and that's why
Okay.
they need to go so fast.
Sure.
Because that's everything, getting the speed of the air.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I know Rebecca and I last year, we sat in on an aviation class when we were filming the recruiting video that Ernie was in. And I don't even know what they were talking about, but I found it very interesting, like all like the science behind lift and how lift is generated. And they're talking about like turning and stuff, and like I don't even know what it all was, like the degrees you can turn before bad things happen in an airplane and stuff. And like it was all very interesting, the whole science behind it, and it's something that's really interesting. But Jenny, you have more questions, correct? You have 2 more, I'm pretty sure.
That was my only one about planes.
That was your only plane question.
Awesome.
Should I say the other 2?
Go for it. You
Okay.
you have non-plane questions now.
So, it's cold out. And when I was walking, I was like, so like for hockey players when it's cold, is this like your time of the season that you're like, yes, it's finally my temperature?
I've actually been walking around. So this is the first time that I've actually had long pants on in a while, just because I was like, all right, I'm going to an interview. I can't be wearing my normal. So I usually just wear shorts and a sweatshirt, but no shirt under my sweatshirt. And I wear my slides, but with no socks on. So yes, I'm thriving right now.
I was surprised to see you with pants and not shorts on, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm a million degrees right now.
Because we talked about it before, how there's like 2 degrees of hockey players in the winter. Like some wear shorts and t-shirts, and some other like bundle up a ton.
Yeah, I am definitely the shorts and a t-shirt one. I'm always warm, so this is my time.
That's fair. Jenny, you have another question, I believe.
I do. My other question is, so I have been dancing since I was 5. And whenever you guys stretch, I always see that you can do the middle splits. And it makes me so angry because I have been trying to do the middle splits since I was 5. So how do you do the middle splits?
Again, it's this concept I like to call magic. So, no, it's actually, I stretch like twice a day for like 20 minutes at a time. It really is just all the muscles that you use and that you stretch. It's really not too difficult. But just next time you're up there, just watch my whole stretching routine and you'll figure it out. Take some notes and it'll be pretty self-explanatory.
I guess I'll have to, get my notepad out and just start writing
Start
exactly
taking notes.
what I have to do.
I'll
so
welcome
I
you
can
into my
finally achieve
dojo.
my goal in life.
You guys can stretch together before the games. Jenny just joins the team warm-up just for the stretching part with Justin.
Yeah, you can call me Sensei.
I'm going to walk into the room and she's just going to be doing stretches now.
Yeah, she will be. She will be. Let's get it trending.
It's a
Make
lifestyle.
splits good.
Make splits good. There you go. I imagine that you have to be quite flexible to be a goalie, though. If you're going down the butterfly constantly, I feel like you can't be too tight in your hips or anything. That would be very
flexible and partially damaged. My hips and my knees are in not very good condition right now.
good. Just from the repeated motion of going down, it's just the wear on it.
Absolutely.
I figured. Okay. Jenny, do you have any more questions, or is that all?
That's all my
That's all from
questions.
That concludes
I'll
Jenny's
teach
question
you, young
segment.
Padawan. Don't worry.
So we had you on last year, and we asked you some questions, but Rebecca has a couple that she wanted to know if the answers remain the same throughout all this time. So, Rebecca, I can't remember which the questions were. We talked about it before the show, but I'll let you handle this one.
One of them was the dinner guest. So is it still going to be Stephen Hawking, or are you going to change it?
Oh, yeah. Now it's Stephen Hawking with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's a good combo.
Oh, yeah. Double space people.
That's a great combo.
If
And
we have
maybe-
Colton on, would he say the same thing?
I don't know. Colton might say me as the dinner guest, which in that case
there
I
you go.
wouldn't say no.
That's an invitation you have to accept.
It is.
Who's cooking, you or him?
Oh, totally me. He knows that.
Would it still be what you said last year for the meal, or would it change?
Yeah, it would still be the same.
It would still be the
I'll
same.
never get tired of that.
Fair enough. Let's see. We've been asking guys throughout the show the stranded island question. I can't remember if we asked you this. I'm pretty sure we did. If you're on a
did.
stranded island, help's coming in 7 days. You can bring 2 teammates along with you. A couple people have said you. Do you want to kind of
What?
defend yourself on why you should be the one to go to the island with a teammate?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can climb a tree. I can crack coconuts. I can hunt. I live on an island, so I'm very good at fishing. If you've been at practices, you've heard that I'm very good at bird calls.
I have not heard that.
We've been to a practice, but I don't remember the bird calls.
Then you weren't listening hard enough.
Well,
See,
I mean,
that
I
was-
can't hear, so.
That was all part of my ploy. It's called blending in. So I'm becoming one with nature, so that way animals can't detect me.
And you just
I
work
can
on
s-
it during practice?
Yeah, I do. I do. It's an art, and if you don't give it the right amount of time it deserves, it's a skill that fades.
There you go.
I can hold my breath underwater for like 30 seconds.
Really?
So
Did
I
you just
can-
teach yourself that?
Kinda.
Why?
Well, all right. So
I'm curious now.
here's the deal, right? So like, I was a freak when I was a child. So like, I loved Percy Jackson books,
Oh, okay.
right? So I was like, all right, if I want to be this kid, I got to be better at holding my breath underwater. Simple as that. So I did exactly that. I spent a whole summer, and I had a notebook too, like writing out all my times, and 30 seconds is all I got.
That's
So,
decent,
yeah.
though.
Right?
What-
I'm
what-
curious. Who said me?
Colton did, because you would keep him sane.
Yes, I would. Or I'd drive him insane. Depends on how you look at it.
I feel like you would either keep each other sane or you would drive each other crazy.
I think Colton and I would end up like creating our own separate tribes on the island, and there'd just be like a tribal feud that you would read about in history books like 100 years from now.
Just like the lost tribal feud.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
And then there were none featuring me and Colton, but I would be left. So and then there was one.
We've added some new questions to the show, and one is if you were a DJ on the radio, what would your DJ name be?
Ooh, that's tough. Oh, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. I need to think.
Think it over. That's good.
I was
that's
working
good.
on my bird calls earlier, so I'm kind of on that train of thought right now.
Fair enough. What is your go-to dance move?
All of them.
I feel like you're a guy that can break it down on the dance floor.
Yeah, I can.
You got like the energy to just go for it.
I do. I kind of look like I'm uncoordinated, and you would actually probably think something's wrong with me in the moment. But I kill it. I'm a big fan of the worm.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's bold.
Yeah, top government secret. Don't let them know I know about it. I'm kind of good at it.
That's a bold move. You got to have a lot of confidence to pull out the worm, I feel.
Oh, it's bold.
That's like peak confidence to pull out the worm.
Yeah. But like my thing is, it makes everybody feel so bad about their dance moves where they're like, wow, I wish I could do it like him. So there's some logic behind it.
Just to make everyone jealous of you?
Oh yeah.
That's fair enough. What food could you not live without?
Popeye's chicken sandwiches.
Oh, that's a solid choice.
Yeah, I've developed a really bad addiction.
They're good though.
I had 3 yesterday.
3?
Oh wow.
Wow.
I don't want to talk about it.
Just breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
No, all dinner.
All dinner.
Do you have anything else or just the sandwiches?
No, I had ice cream for lunch. But yeah, just the sandwiches.
Did you stop after practice?
No. Unfortunately. I had to cook today. I made hot dogs. They were good.
Oh, there you go. Because you're in North this year, correct?
I am.
Because you were supposed to live with Frank, correct?
Frankie. So he was supposed to live with me.
Got it. The real question is, though, does Frankie want a banana?
Frankie always wants a banana. See, that's another one of my skills. If I was on an island, I would always have a banana. It's called assimilation.
You would always have a constant supply of bananas?
I would.
Just regardless?
Absolutely. Good potassium.
Gosh. So Frank was supposed to live with you. I heard his side of the story. I want to hear yours because I'm curious about this.
What did he say?
He said that like the section filled up before he could sign up for housing or something like that.
That's a load of blasphemy.
And now he's stuck over in Dorothy Day or something.
Nope, he's not stuck there. I told Frankie. He was like the first one I told. I was like, hey, I'm getting this room. Put your name in there. And he said, whoa. I think I scared him a little bit last year, which I don't know. I guess I have that effect on people sometimes. Frankie did sit close to me on the bus a lot, so I don't blame him.
Yeah,
I'm a creature on the bus.
When we were on the road trip, he was only like 3 rows ahead of you, and Rebecca was caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, I
half
was right in the middle.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were his saving grace.
The little barrier. But what ended up happening with the housing? Was it just a timing thing, or?
I think so. So like at the point that he was finally like, oh, hey, do you have any more room in your section? Mine had already filled up.
Got it.
But it's not bad. I have Ligas in my section actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wild.
But the somewhat bromance between you and Frank have been split up now.
Yeah, I actually saw him the other day. He made a movie about me for a class.
He made a movie about you?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see this movie now.
Oh yeah, it's going to be in Hollywood.
Nothing short of Hollywood.
Now.
Nothing short of Hollywood. Let's see what other new question we have. Did we ask you the fish question?
No.
No, we
didn't.
haven't. That's a new one. How would you react if you were transformed into a fish?
Depends what kind of fish.
You can choose your fish.
Hammerhead shark.
Okay, I like
Oh
that.
my god, do it right now. Are you kidding? I love sharks, especially hammerheads. Or could I be Megalodon?
Sure. Why not?
That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty great. I'll admit.
Right. Megalodon was just like the king of the world. Okay, Now I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay.
If
Oh
a
yeah.
megalodon could be on land, or if a T-Rex could swim, who would win in a street fight?
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to do some research.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Okay. I'll make your answer a little bit easier. I just got transformed into the megalodon.
And you would have to go up against a T-Rex?
Right answers only.
You would win.
I would give it to you because I feel like you would just intimidate him by the energy that you would just give off.
Oh yeah.
You do the worm and he'd run away.
Big worm megalodon energy. Big man of the sea.
You just like launch out of the water onto the beach, just start doing the worm, and the thing would just go running.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just never
Pretty
to be
much.
seen again.
And then I'd probably do some parkour, like prehistoric parkour, and it wouldn't even know what hit him.
That is hilarious. I could totally see that happening. One thing we've been adding to the show this semester is offering the guests to ask us questions. So we are wondering if you have any questions for us, whatever it may be. We do have a list that Rebecca can give you, but it sounds like you got some in your mind.
Ooh, I'm curious about the list.
If
I'll
you
take
got
a
some
gander
time.
at the list.
You can take a gander at it if any pop into your mind, ask away.
Ooh. Reid, I have a question for you.
Yes.
If you could have dinner with one famous person,
Oh.
who would it be and what would you eat?
Oh, wow. I have to that's a good one. I'd have dinner with Roger Federer.
Interesting.
Because I played
Why?
tennis in high school, and he was like the guy that he was like the guy when I was playing. I mean, along with Nadal, but I was more of a Federer fan, so I'd probably have dinner with him.
That's wild.
But what would
How
I
long did you play
serve?
tennis for?
I played tennis up until my senior year, and I started when I was 7, I believe. So it was a good 11 years by the time I stopped playing. But what I would serve him, I don't know. I feel like it would need to be something somewhat healthy for him, right?
It could, or you could sabotage his career.
I wouldn't want to do that.
That way you
though.
could be a world-class tennis player.
I don't know. Probably something seafood because I like seafood. Maybe like some salmon. Salmon's pretty good.
Salmon is good.
I like
Bold
salmon.
choice, my friend.
So maybe salmon. Salmon with Roger Federer. We'll go with that. Final answer. We'll lock it in.
Cool. All right, I'm going to ask you the DJ question. If in some alternate universe you weren't already a DJ on WLRA, or maybe now, I'm giving you a golden opportunity, what would your DJ name be?
Rebecca already kind of has a DJ name.
I don't use it though. I just
No.
used it for intro to radio. That
You
was
used it for your first
Do
show.
tell.
Kind of dropped
It was
it.
just DJ Blackhawk.
We have a great line or
Ooh.
two that I can play, but I'm not going to because Rebecca doesn't like it.
I want to hear it.
So
She
bad.
is
Bring it
correct.
on.
It's hilarious.
I hate it so much.
I feel obligated to play it now, so maybe we will.
No.
Going into the next break just for fun.
Oh, I'm so excited.
But DJ, I mean, back in intro to radio, I just changed my last name, so I went by Reid Williams. I just changed my last name. So I don't know. I feel like I would, if I were to have like a true DJ name, I'd think of something a little bit more fun. But I don't know what it would be, honestly. Like DJ something. I don't know. I would need to find some good noun for it.
Right?
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like that's one of those things that you need to take a really long walk in like a desert to figure it out.
Coming up with a DJ name, like when we had to do that for intro to radio, it was difficult.
Exactly.
Like honestly, because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I just change elements of my real name, or do I put DJ something? And you're kind of bouncing back and forth. And I feel like once you like land on one, you're still not entirely sure.
Like, exactly. Like I've always had like DJ Flava Flay in my mind, but I don't know.
That would be
I feel
good.
like I get a lot of dirty looks for it.
Yeah, I don't know. If you can rock it and if you own it, if you like make that your second personality, then I think you could pull it off. But you have to be really committed to it. That's the thing,
You already know who it is. It's your boy DJ Flava Flay.
You could have that as
Come
your intro.
on.
It's
Yeah.
golden. Just gotta own it.
So.
What
I
are the
think so.
questions you
Can
got?
I feel
for
like
us,
my commentary name for play by play?
There you go.
Big save by Flava Flay.
We need to make a note of that, so we can add that in this coming season.
Okay, I have another question.
Okay.
Oh, this is a good one. It's actually kind of from the list, but I'm modifying it.
Okay.
Okay, so it said, it's who would be the arm wrestling champion on your team, right? Obviously for one of the teammates, but I have a question for you. How much money would it take for you to arm wrestle Conor McGregor?
Like
A lot.
how much I would get paid or how much I would need to pay?
No, how much are you willing to accept?
How much I'm willing to accept? Oh, a
Let
lot.
me track how much camera equipment I want. Come up with the total, and I'll give that to you.
I feel like I
Ooh,
got to get
okay.
my money's
I like
worth
your
of
logic.
it, you know?
It'll be quick though.
I would say it's quick money. Which
Exactly.
Is the thing.
Like, I mean, I'd probably look at him and pass out.
Probably.
I'd be so nervous.
You just like get
It's
you get your arm ready and you'd be shaking so much it would just be like done.
Yeah, it's like impending doom. You know it's gonna happen. Like, I'm willing to accept the fact that I'm not gonna walk out of there with all 4 of my limbs functional afterwards, or maybe my face. Who knows what he does? He's a maniac.
He is. I don't know, like what amount of money. It would need to be a large sum of money. I don't know. I'd have to do something on it, but a large sum of money to arm wrestle Conor McGregor.
Interesting. Okay, I have another one. One, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Airplane.
Excellent.
All-time
Rebecca?
favorite movie.
Reed's gonna make fun of me, but it's a horse movie. It's called Spirit.
This gets me every time.
Oh
I'm sorry.
my gosh, I love that. I used to watch it on replay when I was little.
Oh, so did I.
Like the light brown horse with the white on its belly. Favorite. Definitely my favorite.
Rebecca,
Jenny.
Somebody finally knows it.
yeah, you were the first guest to know this movie, I think.
Yeah, I watched that to learn some survival skills. Now I know how to ride a horse
From the horse movie.
or how to talk to horses. Jenny,
Is this a question for Jenny?
it is.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
her question, her favorite movie too.
Oh, okay.
I don't like have a specific favorite movie.
No, I feel that. I have like 5.
Like, there's just so many good movies that it's like hard to pick like my ultimate favorite. I have been watching. Whenever I do homework, I watch the Lorax, so I don't know.
That's a good one. I like the Lorax.
I do too.
Dr. Seuss, I feel, is always a crowd pleaser.
He is.
You know,
What if,
always
like-
solid stories.
I feel like an alternative career choice for me, and I actually just thought about this the other day, is being like a children's book rapper. Like, give me any Dr. Seuss books and give me like a crazy backbeat. Game over. Game over.
That would be hilarious. I would love to see Green Eggs and Ham rapped. That
Yeah.
would be hilarious.
You would have to have the fire department on standby. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like it wouldn't be too tricky because you already got the rhymes in place, you know?
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about the rhyming. You know, you have the lyrics right there. You just got to get the flow going, and
There's just so much potential.
there is. Maybe we can make it happen. We could give you a show spot, Justin, where your show could be rapping Dr. Seuss.
That excites me.
I wish
lot.
everyone listening could just see the face you made because that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited for everyone listening. Like, I'm pumped.
We do have plenty of airtime, so if you are interested, let us know. We
I'm
also
always
kind of want to
interested.
get Partial on Partial's Corner. You know, I think that would be
Ooh.
hilarious as well. Hockey Talk with Dylan Partial. That could
I'm
be good.
down.
Hockey
That
Talk with
sounds
Dylan
awesome.
Partial, followed up by Dr. Seuss rapping with Justin.
It's not easy being cheesy.
What more could you ask for?
Nothing.
It's a power combo right
Not
there.
much. All right. Now I have a question for all 3 of you. So
Okay.
you can take turns on who wants to answer.
Okay.
Take one movie, any movie. It's obviously going to be of your choice, but now you're the main character. Which one would it be?
Oh. That's a good one. I'm trying to think of all the movies that I would actually want to be in. Because I feel like a lot of the movies you have like a really like you go through a lot and like it ends up well. But I don't
You
know.
do.
I don't know if I'd want to go through all the stuff in the middle in a lot of the movies. You know.
But you know what's going to happen at the end, though.
That's true. That's true.
Not gonna lie, the second you said that, I just forgot all the movies that I've ever seen.
Rebecca goes back to Spirit because
Well
she
done.
wants to be a horse.
Each one,
Maybe.
all of them.
Peak horse girl. What movie?
Wow, that's a fight on my block.
Jenny, you have any thoughts on this one?
I'm only think of like for movies like The Maze Runner or Hunger Games, but I would never ever want to be in one of those movies because it would be so horrible.
I got
What?
one. I would
would
want to
love to
be.
be.
I would want to be the main character of the Lego Movie.
Which one?
The first one, like the Lego movie.
The Lego.
What do you
the
mean, which
original
one?
There's a lot of different Lego movies.
Not like the Batman or the Star Wars one, like the Lego movie.
I don't know if you were going to specific or not.
Oh, we're going specific, like the Lego movie. I feel like that would be such a cool universe to live in, though.
I think that would be too.
Just like a whole Lego town.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Like, yeah, it's completely revealed that it's just like a model in some guy's basement, but it would still be really cool for a while it lasted.
And you have no idea that you're a model in someone's basement.
You're just living in your own world. What if we're a model in someone's basement, you know?
Stop. I think about that every
and
day.
someone can just take the roof off and
They could.
They can just put another person in right next to us and suddenly they're here.
You heard it first, listeners. Reid thinks we're in a simulation.
We're in a simulation. I'm on the same page with Elon Musk on that one. There you go.
Yeah, you are. I'm going to get in my Cybertruck and debunk this myth.
There you go. Rebecca.
No, I think about that quite often, actually.
About living in a simulation?
Yeah.
I've thought about it, like, if we're, like, just living in, like, a dollhouse, you know, we're just being manipulated by, like, I don't know, like, some other outer being. It's kind of weird to think about, but...
It is. And, like, I'll think about it, and I'll make my head hurt about it, and then it kind of scares me, so I'm like, no, I can't think about this. And then usually the end result is just, like, watching Finding Dory or something to forget about it.
Finding Dory kind of has that same vibe, though, of, like, being manipulated, though, like when they get stuck in the fish or well, I'm thinking of Finding Nemo now. When they get stuck in the fish tank.
Are we in a fish tank?
Are we in a fish tank?
We would never know.
That's
I
weird.
always think of it as if it's like, have you seen the Sims game?
Yes.
Of course.
I always think of it as like that, like someone's controlling like what we do and like how we move.
Okay, so I have actually a side question because I kind of thought about it. Did you guys play Zoo Tycoon when you were little?
I did, yeah.
I did not know.
You had a fantastic childhood, Rebecca.
I did.
You did too, Jenny. Fantastic childhood.
Wow. Yeah, I did not play it.
Reid, we might have to get you on that soon.
Get me on the Zoo Tycoon train.
Oh yeah, you'll be addicted.
There you go. I had a friend in high school who played Roller Coaster Tycoon, but he installed a pirated version of it and got a virus on his computer.
Oh,
So the best thing is the computer was like 2 weeks old, and he gets this virus and had to wipe the hard drive clean to restart, and it was hilarious. So that is the lesson of not installing pirated software.
exactly.
Because it's just not worth it, especially for Roller Coaster Tycoon.
If you think about like the positives that come out of that story, right? Boom, you wiped your hard drive. Excellent. That's a lot of space for Zoo Tycoon.
There you go. You got
The
all that
math
space
adds
for
up.
Zoo Tycoon. You know,
Exactly.
no more pirated Roller Coaster Tycoon, over to Zoo Tycoon.
Yeah,
Why not?
correct.
Exactly.
All right, Rebecca, I'm still waiting for your answer.
I think I might go Hunger Games.
Hunger
I don't-
Games.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who would you want to be though?
You gotta be the,
Katniss,
you
'cause I
gotta
know
be the
I'd
one that
win.
survives, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably be somebody from like the other districts. I mean, yeah, like they get killed in it, unfortunately, but they're just so cool.
That's true. They come from the cooler district.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what was his name? Kato, that had the giant sword. He was pretty cool.
What's the name of like the ruler guy in the books? I can't remember now. Oh, what's
Snow?
President Snow.
Yes, that's it. Would
Yeah,
you want to be
I don't
him?
like him. No
No.
way. No way. He was a musty old man.
We read those books for me in 6th grade, I think. Like, I don't know, they were like the guided reading book for my English class. And like, I don't know, every time I read a guided reading book, I never enjoy the book. So like, I've never enjoyed Hunger Games because it's always been attached to the guided reading.
See, I get that because I read Lord of the Flies like that.
Okay.
And I hated it when I read it the first time because of one of the guided reading books that they gave us. And then a couple years after that, I read it again, and I was like, wow, this is kind of amazing. And with the Hunger Games, too, like, it was we were all in, like, 7th or 8th grade when all that was going on, when it became big. So my teacher wanted to do it, and we were like, no, you're going to ruin it.
That's
So
what
we
I
let
wish
it
happened for me, because it's kind of been ruined for me, because, like, we read the first book, and then the teacher's like, does everyone want to read the second book? And everyone's like, yeah. I'm like, no, please, no, because it'll ruin it for me, because I didn't enjoy the first one, because it was the guided reading book, and I just felt obligated to read my 20 pages a night of Hunger Games, you know, and I imagine if I read it on my own, you know, it would be fine. But because I had to read it as part of a class, I don't know, it just kind of ruined it for me. I don't know.
Well, like, what type of books are you into? Because I was very into, like, that sci-fi stuff, like alternate reality kind of
Back in
exactly
middle
how
school,
the Hunger Games
it was
is.
a lot of, like, dystopian stuff.
Yeah.
Like Percy Jackson, and not like full dystopian, but Percy Jackson. Well, I'm trying to think. What's that other book? Wow, I can't. The Divergent series.
Oh, Divergent, Insurgent.
Read that.
Yeah.
That was big at the time. Kind of like those books.
I do too, a lot actually. Were you guys Harry Potter fans?
I was.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I read Harry Potter in middle school, and I actually reread the whole series this past quarantine because I wanted to reread it, and then I watched all the movies again. So I was.
See, for some reason, I could just never get into it. I don't know why.
I don't go like full on with the fandom of being like I am a Gryffindor, because I don't like that. Like if a Harry Potter house is a part of your personality, like I feel like I don't know, like there's something about that. It's like okay, like you're not really a Gryffindor. Like calm down here, we're not
Slow your roll.
We're not at Hogwarts. Calm down a little bit.
Did you take a test though to figure out which one you were? I was Slytherin.
I did.
I was always Slytherin.
Let's go.
I think I was
Cool
a
people
Gryffindor.
only.
I
like,
was Hufflepuff.
It's not something I put in my
Aw.
Instagram bio, like some people do. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Like they make it a personality trait, and
Exactly.
it's obvious.
Yeah, and it's
We
like,
know who you are out there.
yeah, it's like
we're-
okay,
we're watching.
You're trying a little too hard with the whole Harry Potter thing here, but yeah, I'm a more casual fan, I'd say. I don't like read into like all the like the fan theories and stuff because I don't know. There's
Oh, I love reading
lot.
those. It's so interesting.
some of them are interesting, but then some just go like way off the rails and stuff doesn't make any sense, and it's like okay, that doesn't. I don't know. That doesn't work in my mind.
But like that's the point. It's supposed to be
true.
so outrageous. We're like, what?
Yeah.
What if that actually happened? Like I used to read a lot of them for Percy Jackson, and then the other series is that he had like the last I think it was like
Yes.
the Last Olympian or
Yeah.
something like that. I think that was the last book in the Harry Potter series, but there was like that whole other series with like the Titans, and then like the Red Pyramid books.
Yep.
I was also just a geek when I was a kid. I mean, I still am. So I was always big into like Greek and Roman mythology and all that sort of stuff. I wanted to be a gladiator when I was little. That's what I told people.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be. Actually, I don't
Get to
know.
wear all the armor.
But like, you're in a ring full of sand and you're fighting for your life. Do you know? I don't know if you knew this. At some points, right? So the Colosseum is set up where one time they wanted to make it like ocean themed. So they filled
Really?
it with water and they put sharks and fish in it. And the gladiators had to fight in that.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Why would anyone want to do that?
I don't know.
No one gets out alive.
People loved it. They ate that up.
Really? Wow.
I mean, it was like, so like I compare it, like I was watching a movie earlier about robot boxing,
okay.
and I feel like it's kind of like the same equivalent to that. Like it's just completely outrageous, but
That's
wild.
fair. That's fair.
I'd win that with my survival skills. I'd start talking to the fish.
You could take down the sharks.
Yeah, for 30 seconds at a time. That's it. I'm limited in my
Just
capabilities.
change into the megalodon.
You'd be in the middle of a
Oh
conversation.
yeah, I would.
You'd be in the middle of a conversation. You'd be like, hold up, I gotta go up for air.
Yeah, pause, shark that's trying to eat me.
Yeah.
I need to breathe.
Can
All
you
right, let's begin.
Can you just stop for a minute? I gotta breathe.
Yeah, right? Take it easy now. Take it
I mean,
easy.
being a hockey goalie, I feel like you get somewhat close to being a gladiator. You get to wear all of the pseudo armor as your equipment, and you are in somewhat of a ring.
Yeah,
you know?
I do, and I'm getting attacked.
You're getting attacked by a puck for 60 minutes, so
and there's a lot of people around me yelling
Yeah.
weird stuff sometimes, and it freaks me out.
you got spectators. I mean, it's basically the same thing when you look at it that way.
Yeah, it is. And what's cool is like on my goalie mask, one thing that I've always done with the ones that I've designed is it's not really like a gladiator, but it's kind of like the next step, like being a knight.
Oh, okay.
So on the chin part of all of my goalie masks, it's actually painted with like plated armor.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool. Kind of like
just in case.
pseudo Jonathan Quick style.
Exactly.
That's cool.
That's kind of where I got the inspiration from
That's
because
really
his
neat.
mask was super cool.
Nice. I like that. One question that I just thought of, or I thought about it a couple days ago, but then forgot it. What is your favorite piece of hockey equipment?
The goalie mask.
The goalie mask?
Regardless, yeah. I was always obsessed with masks. When I was younger, actually, and I found it as I was cleaning my room through quarantine boredom,
Okay.
is I had a binder. It was maybe 500 or 600 pieces of computer paper and loose leaf of like every goalie between when did I make it? I was like 10 years old probably when I made it. So like between 2010 and like 1960, something like that.
Wow.
And it was all their goalies. I had a whole bunch of drawings on their pad setups, a whole bunch of different mask designs. When I first got my goalie mask, so when I first started playing hockey, I wasn't a goalie. It was kind of like somebody got sick and I played goalie. So when I first got my own goalie mask, I actually slept with it on my
Really?
head.
Oh
for
my
like
gosh.
3 weeks straight. And then from there on, I mean, you guys want to talk about crazy goalie superstitions.
Yeah.
Is every new piece of equipment I've gotten, aside from a stick, because that's just weird, I've like slept with it next to me or with it on.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you
Even
slept
skates.
with? What
Is
about?
that what you're gonna ask?
No,
Oh.
I was gonna ask about pads. 'Cause I don't know about you, but I like to
Totally.
toss and turn when I sleep, and I feel like tossing it and turning it with goalie pads on would be a little tricky.
See, those were kind of like I didn't wear it, but
That's
I
like
just
a
held
sleep
onto them
with it.
tightly.
I feel like they can make a big, like, good pillow to hug, though.
So comfortable.
That's actually, I can actually see that working out well.
Right? There's a method to my madness.
Couldn't imagine sleeping with skates on, though.
Yeah, my mom wasn't too thrilled about that. And what's crazy is like we have blade protectors.
Sure.
I was like, no, I don't want those. I don't want them.
Did you
Whatever
do it
happens,
before
happens.
or after sharpening the skates?
After.
After?
They were brand new, freshly sharpened. Just took them out of the box and said, night, night.
I suppose that if you were to bake the skates before you go to bed, you get a great fit on them because your feet would be in them for a whole 8 hours.
Exactly.
So they would just be super molded to your foot.
Yeah, and I mean, the ones that I have now are those ones that I wore when my mom was kind of angry about it. They are so comfortable. They're like 5 years old, and I probably should get new ones. I just can't part ways with them.
Because they're just so comfortable. Your foot has gotten so used to them at this point.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
Like sometimes I don't even notice they're there. Floating.
That's honestly probably a good sign of good equipment, though. I imagine for hockey, like good equipment disappears.
Absolutely.
You know, like you
Absolutely.
don't notice that you have it on, and then
Yeah,
it
yeah.
makes
Like you
playing for
almost
it
kind
easier.
of get a aspect of weightlessness with it.
Sure,
Like obviously you feel it and you want to feel it, but it just becomes like part of you.
sure,
And
sure.
that's the nice part about it.
That's fair. One other thing I thought of: if you could be transformed into any piece of hockey equipment, what would it be?
Definitely not goalie equipment. That stuff gets a beating. I'd probably be like an elbow pad or something.
An elbow pad? Okay.
Yeah, it's just there.
Sure.
It's just along for the ride. It
Just
really
hanging
doesn't do
out.
much.
Sure.
It's just there. And when someone gets into a fight, it gets like thrown off, so I wouldn't have to worry about getting hit. It's just a peaceful life being an elbow pad, you know?
I can see that. I think so. What about like non-player equipment stuff? Like any other would you be like a hockey puck or like a pane of glass or a piece of the boards or anything like that?
Pucks, sorta.
Okay.
I could be. Panes of glass, definitely not behind the net that my team shoots at. For starters. I don't know. Maybe I'd be like a bench door.
Oh. That
Yeah,
could be
they're
good.
always front and center in the action.
What about like a pylon between the panes of glass?
I could be.
I feel like if you're a pylon on the corner, that would be a pretty good view.
That's like the equivalent of an elbow pad. You're just there.
Yeah, exactly. You're just kind of observing. You get like doinked a little bit when the puck's going around the glass, but
Yeah.
apart
Or
from
bleachers.
those exceptions.
Are bleachers acceptable? Does that count?
Sure, why not?
All right, I'll be a bleacher.
We'll go everything in the ring.
Sometimes, if you're lucky, if you come to our games and it's on like a weird time, we actually do a promotion. It's called Dress Like a Bleacher Night. Yeah.
Never heard of that.
And let me guess, it's always a sellout crowd.
Always. You
Oh
can't tell
my
the difference
God.
sometimes.
People are good at it.
So good.
Must be
I respect
experience. They
them.
they just keep on coming.
They never leave. Biggest fans. They've been there, like, it's really weird. They've been there since I started playing hockey. I think they might be following me.
One other thing I want to circle back to, you were talking about your collection of goalie mask pictures. What is your favorite mask of all time, your favorite mask design?
Are we talking, like, my design or professional?
Let's do both. I'm curious to see what designs you've all had.
Okay. I think professionally, I'll do professionally first just because
Okay.
mine is a easy answer. I think professionally, it might have to be, I really liked Marty Brodeurs.
Classic.
Obviously, there wasn't much going on, but it was iconic.
It is, yeah.
When you saw that paint job, you knew who it was, what you were about to deal with. And I think what's super cool is that he had a really long, illustrious career. So that started with him, and it ended with him.
Yeah.
So that mask really became history. Or if we're going like super cool design, I liked Ben Bishop's glow in the dark helmet.
I love that one.
That was super cool.
The one with the lightning, that is clean. Yes.
But mostly Henrik Lundqvist's mask. Obviously,
okay.
I hate the Rangers, but kind of like a hometown hero. He was the face of goaltending for a while. So like having his own logo, like the crown, and then any other way he kind of twisted it and made it look awesome. Anything his.
He had like a very kind of like electric blue, kind of similar to that Bishop mask that would be used within the mask as well, which was really cool that he'd sprinkle in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was kind of like later on in his career as a Ranger.
Yeah.
I think that was recently, right?
I believe so.
Within the past few years.
Yeah, possibly.
And what was super cool with that is he actually got like his pads set up to match it too. Which,
That's
I mean,
cool.
like, come on. You're the best goalie in the NHL, and now you're going to rub it in everyone's face. That's awesome.
You have the whole continuity of it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then favorite mask that I've had. So, obviously, I love the new paint job on my mask right now. My favorite part about it is the tribute to New York on the back. I don't know if you guys were able to see that part. But it's a brick wall with New York in graffiti, and in the letters, it's just kind of a bunch of things that remind me of home.
That's cool.
Obviously, a silhouette of the Twin Towers on the bottom. But I think my favorite one, the one that I always tell people about, is I think I was maybe 9 or 10, somewhere around there, and I got an Iron Man mask. It was the coolest paint job I've ever seen. And it wasn't like a custom paint job. It's like they just sold it on some goalie website. It was like some printed graphic on it, but it was just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, what more can you want from a mask, honestly?
Yeah, exactly. And I always loved Iron Man. He's my favorite superhero.
Let's talk about pads. What is your favorite professional set of pads?
I would have to say, oh man, that's a tough
Because
question.
there have been some cool ones throughout the years.
Yeah, there really have been. I really liked Henrik Lundqvist's Pinstripe Stadium Series pads. I think
Okay.
those were classic.
Let me look these up real quick.
Chris Mason's Winnipeg Jets ones with the fighter jet split down the middle. That's actually a really hard question. Obviously, Fleury's golden pads.
Fleury's gold pads are.
Or the man who started the golden pads, Marty Turco.
Yes, Turco had the original ones.
In
That's
Dallas,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think that there's so many cool things that can be done with pad design. The new ones that Robin Leonard has, they have like a playing card design. Those are really clean in my opinion.
I just love Robin Leonard. He could have the ugliest pads in the world, and
Yeah.
I'd probably still say they're cool.
He seems like he would be such a cool guy off the ice.
Yeah.
And just like so like down to earth.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't know if you've kind of heard a lot about like the backstory of him. He hasn't had it easy. He's been through a lot.
Not. Yeah.
And like he had a 1-season stint with the Islanders, and I just fell in love with the guy.
Yeah.
He got us to the playoffs in a while, and it was just really cool to hear his story, like see how he bounced back. Understand the nonsense that he went to get where he is.
Yeah.
I respect that a lot, and he's not my favorite goalie, but he's definitely the one that I look up to the most.
Sure. Yeah, I think he wrote for the Players Tribune a couple of years back about his whole experience with mental health and depression and anxiety. And the one thing that stuck out to me was about how he told a story of, I think it was during his time in Buffalo, where he literally started to have like a panic attack like mid-game. And like just thinking about like what that would be like you're playing on the biggest stage of professional hockey, and you're the starting goalie, and you start to have this breakdown in the middle of a game, and I feel like there's no way to put that into words on what that would be like.
I could never imagine experiencing what
Yeah.
he went through, and that's really why I have so much respect for him. Because, it just proves that regardless of how much money you're making or where you are in life, like, it could get anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's out there, and I think that really shined a light on awareness for it.
Yep.
Because, I'm sure a lot of us know that a lot of people are going through things that we really aren't aware of.
Yeah.
So it was humbling to see that somebody, in the biggest stage of hockey is experiencing this. And, he's a person too. He's going through this. And it really teaches us all a lot about how we can go through it and get better.
Yeah, I remember his speech at the NHL Awards after, what was the award? The Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy that he won. That speech was just like, I don't think there was like a dry eye in that whole arena after he gave that speech, because that was moving for even the short time he spoke. And it's been great to see him. Obviously, being a Vegas fan, I'm happy that he signed a 5-year extension with us. But just regardless, for someone like that who's gone through, everything he has and has gotten to the point of his career where, he was questioning, like, am I ever going to be able to find stability with a team? Because teams, in a part didn't really trust him with a long-term contract. But now finding that, you, regardless of what team you follow, you got to feel good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just no way around it. But yeah, during that speech, somebody was definitely cutting onions next to me or something. I don't know what was going on. It had me feeling some type of way.
That's a fantastic hockey story of everything that he's overcome.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one that definitely deserves all the recognition that it's already gotten and then some.
For sure.
And I think it's cool that now he's in Vegas and he's tearing it up there.
He is.
I mean, I think he just gained the starting spot, and now Fleury's got the number 2 pretty much.
Yes, yeah.
Which is wild.
That kind of happened throughout the playoffs. I mean, the whole message they were preaching throughout the playoffs was that they're going to rotate, but then they never really ended up rotating. So now Leonard has the starting job. But honestly, whoever Vegas starts in that, I'll be happy with.
Oh, me too. Fleury is my favorite goalie of all time.
Yeah.
And I love Robin Lehner. So they might have a new fan pretty soon.
You're wearing the hat.
I know, I am. And
So-
have you seen their new third jerseys?
Their new third jerseys, I love them.
Beautiful. I want to get one.
I wasn't too sure about them at first, because at first I'm like, wow, that's a lot of gold. Because
I think it's
looking at
just-
pictures of them, it is like the sparkly gold from their main jersey on the arm, but like the full thing. So it's a lot of gold. But they have grown on me a ton, and I will definitely be getting one once.
I think it's like the exact amount of flashy that you need to be playing in Vegas.
Exactly.
It just
I
fits
agree.
the aesthetic so perfectly.
They went subtle with their home and away one to start. I think that was a safe bet. But now that they're kind of in the league, they can
Absolutely.
go a little bit more flashy. But I'll definitely be picking one up, hopefully when they announce their captain.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
They're supposed to be
absolutely.
naming a captain for this next season.
When did they say they're doing it? Anytime
They
soon?
haven't said when they're doing it. But Pete DeBoer said during the playoffs that there will be a captain the next time they play.
Interesting.
So for next season, there will be a captain. I'm guessing it's going to be Mark Stone. But now people are thinking that it may be Pietrangelo. But I don't know if you give the seed to a guy who's just signed with the team, though.
It really depends. Yeah, yes, he had just signed with the team, but Pietrangelo has a lot of experience.
He has, yes.
He's been in the league a while. He's done some pretty prestigious things. Did he have a letter in St. Louis?
I believe he was captain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he understands what it takes
He does, yes.
to be a captain of a team. And
Yep.
look at St. Louis. They've never won a cup before
Yeah.
until a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago. And I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Obviously, things are subject to change. Like John Tavares came to the Islanders. They gave him the C right away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely weird to give it to somebody
Yeah.
right away. But these NHL coaches are thinking on a completely different level than we are.
True. My money's on Stone because DeBoer said it well before Pietrangelo was even in Vegas's minds. But I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to him. But
Yeah, I think you're pretty safe saying Stone. I
Yeah.
think that's probably what their best bet's going to be.
we kind of got off on a little tangent, but that's okay. Do you have any more questions for us, Justin? We kind of interrupted your question time, but all for the better.
Yeah, I get distracted easily. It just kind of happens.
That's fine though. It makes the time go by faster.
Reid, you're from Wisconsin, right?
I am, yes.
Tell
Yep.
me about Wisconsin. What's it like living there?
What's it like in Wisconsin? Wisconsin is a wonderful state. I give Wisconsin a lot of crap, I'll be honest. I don't know. I enjoyed living there. I came from a smaller town. We had like 18,000. So it wasn't like quite everyone knows everyone, and it wasn't like quite like the smaller ones. I don't know. It was a nice kind of like humble upbringing, you know. It was very easygoing, you know. But we were also in a suburb. But I enjoyed growing up in Wisconsin, you know. I mean, I don't really have anything to compare it off of because I lived there my whole life. I was born and raised in the same town. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I like Wisconsin, you know. I think it's a good state.
So what sports teams do you go for then?
Honestly, I don't follow really any of Wisconsin sports except for the Admirals in the AHL.
Interesting.
Never really was a big football person. Never really followed the Packers. Never really followed the Bucks because the Bucks usually weren't very good when I was growing up. Like
until now.
Exactly. They've gotten good now, of course, when I'm not in the state anymore. But like we would go to Bucks games when I was younger, and like they were like okay. Like I'm talking like the time when they had Andrew Bogut, and like he was like considered one of their star players, and that's how you know that's how you know things are bad in Milwaukee.
The dark days.
Exactly. But I really didn't follow many of Wisconsin sports now that I think about it. It was just kind of I don't know why. I mean, when I started watching hockey, obviously Milwaukee didn't have an NHL team, so I kind of hopped around fan bases there. But I don't know. I've never really been a big Wisconsin sports fan.
Interesting. So have you focused on more of Chicago sports or Illinois sports, or is it kind of all over for you then?
It really wasn't even. I mean, baseball was probably the lone exception for Wisconsin. Like I wouldn't call myself a Brewers fan, but they were probably the Wisconsin team I followed the closest, like out of like the big three that we had. But then for like hockey, I kind of bounced around. I mean, I like right when I started watching, I was a fan of Detroit because they were doing well. And then I hopped over to Vancouver and kind of stuck there for a while. But for other sports, I mean, I never really followed football that closely. Never really followed basketball that closely. So, I mean, it was really the Brewers when I was younger and then hockey, which kind of rotated.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I have a question for everybody.
Okay.
Obviously take turns answering and whatnot. So, when you were little, what was your dream to be?
Like dream career, like dream job that you wanted to be, or just like dream anything? Or
dream anything. Like, what did you want to be when, like, what do you want to be when you grow up type thing?
It changed every year.
Rebecca wanted to be a horse.
Yeah. That was one year, yeah.
I wanted to be a pilot in elementary school, which I always kind of find ironic that I'm now at a school with a very strong aviation program.
Surrounded by us.
So, you know, who knows? If I still wanted to be a pilot, I could have ended up here regardless. I wanted to be a designer for Lego at one point because I was super into Legos when I was younger. And I still think that would be a pretty cool job.
Oh, totally.
Just get to play with Legos all day.
Yeah, exactly. That would be great. And then, I don't know, kind of going into like late middle school, early high school, I really didn't have anything until I kind of narrowed down on broadcasting eventually. But Jenny, how about you? What did you want to be?
I wanted to be a dolphin trainer.
That would be cool.
I went to Brookfield Zoo, and I was like, yes, this is what I want to do.
That is a career
I wanted to
for you.
be a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher, and I picked the wrong major, so.
No, you could always still be a teacher.
Did you just want to be a gladiator, Justin? Was that always your thing?
Always.
Always
No,
wanted
I'm
to be a
kidding.
gladiator.
So, like, when I was 4 years old, I told my doctor that I wanted to be a pilot.
You've like manifested this for a while.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
impressive.
This is 16 years in the making now.
Wow.
And then of course gladiator. That was always like my underlying thing. Like it
If
was
pilot
there.
doesn't work out, you'll be a gladiator.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like I can't tell people. I can't blow my secret plan. But it's
enough.
there. You know, it's always in the back of my mind. Then obviously astronaut.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
'cause that'd be so
of course.
cool.
That would be great.
And then similar to Jenny with dolphin training, I wanted to be like a zookeeper. Just because I really liked lions.
Okay.
So I wanted to like work with lions. I wanted to show them how to do tricks and all that, which I thought would be wild. And then as I kind of made my way through middle school, it was still like ninja warrior or gladiator or like race car driver or pilot. And then in high school it was like astronaut. So now here I am kind of doing a very poor job of being an astronaut.
You're getting close.
I get like halfway there and then I get tired.
Do you get tired or does the plane get tired? Or a
Yes.
combination of both? being an astronaut would be cool though. I just finished up reading the book by Chris Hadfield. It's an astronaut's guide to life on Earth, and it talks about his time as an astronaut and life aboard the International Space Station. Everything that seems so cool, like just going to space and just zero gravity. Like I can't wait for human space flight to be like a commercial thing, where you can just like book a space flight. That'll be so cool. Just like spend a day in orbit. Like that would be incredible.
So like there's actually, I mean, Richard Branson just a couple years ago launched some ship with like not actual people in it, but like dummies of people in it, just to see how feasible it was. I know Elon Musk is always scheming commercial space travel. I mean, they finally, a couple years ago, they actually had the first launch of one of the Falcon rockets where all three tiny capsules of it came back and landed.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
Did you watch the launch when they sent guys to the space station?
Yes, I did.
Back in, what was that, like April or something?
Uh-huh. And I geeked out every second of it.
Watching those boosters land was the most, like, cool sci-fi thing ever. That was like, I'm like, whoa, we are in the future that, like, we're getting so close to the future that people are writing about. Like that was crazy. Yeah,
it honestly didn't seem real watching it.
It didn't, no.
It was just incredible.
I think everyone was just so accustomed to seeing, like the shuttle goes up, the boosters break off, and they just kind of float away, do their own thing,
That's it.
Never to be seen again.
And you just fish them out.
The big orange fuel tank pops off eventually. That thing goes away and does its own thing, and then the shuttle's just there. But like seeing those re-land and like make them like reusable, like that was incredible.
So amazing. And like being an astronaut too, I'm very curious about that book now. I might give it a read.
Very good.
I'm very big into space books. I'm actually reading what is it? Short History of Time. So I forget the title of it. By Stephen Hawking.
Okay.
I forget the title of it. Something like that. I've just kind of been too into the really big science words that the pages have been spewing at me that I forgot the title. But no, like I always think about being an astronaut. Like, wouldn't that be insane just being away from the Earth for that long with only a few people?
Yeah.
Like, do you honestly think you could handle it?
I don't know.
I don't think I would.
Well,
I think I'd go crazy with the isolation. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything.
In the book that I read, Chris talked a lot about how NASA goes through a very intensive selection process for who's with who. So, like, your crew is, like, hand-selected, like, meticulously to figure out, like, is there any small things that, like, make people tick from someone else that they wouldn't get along with? And, like, it's like a month-long process to figure out who your crewmates are going to be. And then, like, you still have to go through all the training with them, and things can all change in that. So, like, it's just even, like they'll put, like almost like spotters around, like, the training facility just to, like, pick up on, like, small mannerisms that you may have that make you unfit for space. And it's, like, the smallest things that could, like, knock you out of contention. Like, if you get, like, too riled up over, like, this one small thing one day, So, like, they go through, like, almost with, like, a fine-tooth comb, like, just getting, like, every little detail, like, figured out. Which is crazy, but I mean it makes sense for space because he has a whole chapter in the book dedicated to like what he calls sweating the small stuff, which is like going into everything with the mindset of like what's going to kill me next in space. Like you have to get every little fine detail figured out, or else like it could be like there's just like the ripple effect of stuff that could happen. But I don't know, it's so interesting, the life of an astronaut.
I also think Chris Hadfield is just brilliant. I don't know if you've seen it, but you know how they always do like the master class advertisements on YouTube?
Yes.
I watched his.
Okay.
And, kind of the big thing that was in the commercial for it too that still resonates from watching that entire thing was what he said about astronauts. Says they have to take these, millions of pages in books and boil it down to one single page of, all right, this is what I need to stay alive.
Yep.
And what's interesting is, they kind of talk about that being pilots too, is we have to be raging perfectionists. You have to sweat the small stuff because it's a snowball effect. The small stuff leads into a slightly bigger thing, which leads into something a little bit more bigger, and boom, something bad happens that you can't control.
Yeah.
So I think it's super interesting to understand kind of the psychology behind that. So, like, what other disqualifying factors were there?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, there's the other thing he talked about is kind of how all the steps you need to go through to actually get up in space. Like, he was like super excited when he got chosen for the astronaut program. But even still, when you get chosen for the program and like you become an astronaut, there is still so much more to be done and so many other things that could put you out of the running to actually become an astronaut. Like, there were like he talked about doing one of the physicals before, I believe it was before his last space flight, because I obviously do a ton of health checks on you to make sure that you're fit to go to space. But he was like the days leading up to it, he was planning his day so he was extra like calm and extra ready for it. So like his blood pressure wasn't like a point or two too high. You know, like it's those such small things. Like, there's a health considerations, there's kind of, you know, the kind of social considerations. Obviously there's like the training stuff that goes a long way, but just like it was just a ton of tiny stuff. Like, you know, like if one small thing is out of place in like your physical or something, you know, like you're disqualified. It was honestly a really good read. I would definitely recommend it.
So now that you've read that, right, now answer the question. Do you think you could do it?
No.
Me neither.
No. It was just like the process, and like he talked about like how many times he would move around as well, like how many times he was moving his family, and like the whole process, I think, like from him joining and kind of like starting his journey to become an astronaut, because I believe he started as a test pilot for the Air Force, and going from that, and like even there, like once he got selected into that program, you know, that was just the one small step to becoming an astronaut, and then there's like a million other steps, and like just to have the vision of keeping the final goal in sight. You know, like I feel like I would need to put like a big poster on my wall to remind myself of what I'm working for every day, you know, because I feel like it would just get so lost in all the prep.
I think so too, and I think that's almost one of the more beautiful things about it is you are putting in all of this work to do something that no one else has.
Yeah.
Or not many people will get to experience. Like, I can't wait till the day that going to space is kind of the trend.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to sign up.
Yeah.
Take all my money. I don't care. I think it's just be super interesting. So, like, still kind of sticking on the concept of, you know, being an astronaut and everything. If you had to go, like, let's say there was no choice, you know, you had to get sent. You could take 2 other people with you. You're up there for 2 years.
Oh, boy.
Who's going with you? And this is for everyone. You know, feel free to chime in.
2 years with 2 other people? Wow. This is a greater scale than our stranded island with a week.
Oh, yeah. This is...
Oh, wow. I think one for me would have to be my brother, because he and I are very close and we have a lot of mutual interests, so we'd be able to keep each other interested, hopefully, for the whole 2 years. Who else would I bring with me? Oh, man. Does anyone else have any other answers while I think?
I have mine.
Okay. Jenny didn't take much time to think there.
She's ready to go.
This is 2
Space
years of your
Force.
life, Jenny.
I would just take my 2 friends. I would take Kristen and Rebecca.
Rebecca, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I was honestly thinking Jenny and Kristen too.
Aww.
Because like I
We're
would do
so
my brothers,
cute.
but we just get on each other's nerves too much.
Yeah, that's 2 years. That's a lot of time with my sibling. Like, I couldn't take my brother.
Who would
I'd
you
probably
bring,
end up
Justin?
like, I'd probably open the hatch.
You'd be like, get out.
Yeah, like gravity, or lack of gravity, do its thing. As she's like outside, like tapping on the glass
He's like,
of it,
Justin, no.
and you don't hear any sound because it's just nothing. And I'm like, I know, I can't hear it.
I'm trying to think of who else I would bring. Oh wow, who can I get along with for 2 years? That's a long period of time.
Yes, it is.
That's crazy to think about. I don't know. Like, I can't choose one of my parents, you know, because like
No.
you can't bring dad without mom, you know, like. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a friend back home, but I feel like I would need to put all my friends from back home through a very, very rigorous process to figure out who gets to go.
Make them like do a triathlon or something crazy.
Exactly. It'll be like
Survival of the fittest. Whoever wins is coming
honestly,
to space
it
with
it
you.
would probably just to be like not even who wins, but who's the most committed to it. You know, like if you
Yeah,
even, if you
absolutely.
even go through with it, like yeah, maybe you can come along to space.
Because you have to have that commitment
You
to
do.
it if you're doing something like that.
Yep, I agree.
I'd probably bring I don't know. One of my really close friends, either my best friend or my girlfriend, one of them, depends on how I'm feeling come day of the launch. And probably Brian Cox, who's like this crazy smart astrophysicist. Just because he'll tell me what's actually going on.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah. Somebody needs to know what's going on because I clearly won't.
I would bring an actual astronaut along. I feel like,
hey, Chris, I need your
I'd
help.
be like, hello? I feel like
go back up again?
Something would go wrong, I feel, eventually, and I would just be lost. You know, like,
exactly.
If I bring my brother and a friend from back home, we'd just all be looking at each other like, well, guess we're just stuck here with this broken spaceship, you know? Just
that's it.
Floating off into
nowhere. Just pointing
nowhere.
at the little blue thing in the distance, like, yeah, that's where we should be, and we'll never make it back.
And we're going the wrong way, and we can't turn this thing around.
You can literally see it, too, and you're like, whoa,
yeah.
this is it.
Yep. And you're
Honestly,
just waiting for your eventual
crazy.
end. That would be horrible. Just getting lost in space.
So, like, are you lost in space if you can see the Earth the whole time? Like, you know exactly where you are,
Yeah.
but you're just stuck.
I imagine you know where you are and you know where you need to be, but you can't do anything in your power to get there. I feel like that would
Exactly.
constitute being lost.
Okay, fair enough.
Because, like, in theory, like, this is probably a bad comparison, but, like, if I'm driving and I get lost, you know, like, I know where I am. Like, I know what road I'm on, you know, hopefully, at least. And I know where I want to be, but I don't have a clue how to get there, and I'm considered lost.
Okay, I like the reasoning. I respect it. I think if I closed my eyes and like turned around and did like 12 360s or something, and I woke up looking at a different window and I didn't see the Earth, I'd probably be scared.
Yeah.
But if I still saw it, I'd be like, you know what? Whatever, this isn't the end. It could be worse. I could be over there.
If you were to lose sight of the Earth, I think that would get scary. Because then you're just in the vastness of space. And, like, the only... Like, I feel like at that point you wouldn't know where you are. Because even if you're still seeing the Earth, the only reason you know where you are is in relation to the Earth. You just know, like, I'm supposed to be there, but where I currently am is too far. You know? Like your location isn't, like, a coordinate of any point. It's just too far. You know? Like,
how lost am I?
Like
too lost.
Like, where are you? Too far. You know? Like, no other metric matters. Just you being too far, you know?
Which at that point, it's like, I hate to say it, but that's tough.
You just have to accept it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere else.
It's a very dark thought, though. I don't know.
It's just interesting to think about, like,
It is.
being in space with two people for that long.
Yeah, that 2 years, it would be a long time to be in space, but
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen to your body throughout 2 years on space.
So, like, a lot of stuff happens, actually.
What's the longest amount of time someone's been in orbit, though?
Ooh, I don't know. You might have to do some research for me.
All right, let me do some Googling here. Longest time
There's a big biological impact on your body just because of the lack of gravity. You know, you tend to lose a lot of muscle and bone density. You will come back taller. Because there's just no compression on your spine.
Compression on your spine, yeah.
So they actually make astronauts work out in their space station a couple times a day.
Yeah.
And they have to eat, like, super protein-rich diets. That way they come back looking like a normal human.
Yep.
I know something happens with their lungs. I don't remember what exactly, but it's some sort of difficulty that they usually have to deal with once they get back down.
I imagine it has to do with the lack of gravity.
Has to be.
Yeah. Well, Hadfield kind of talked about that in his book as well, but he also talked about when they land, like, he came down for his last space flight in, like, a Russian capsule, which is basically like a ball that just kind of does, like, a not so graceful, like, it hits the Earth and just kind of, like, skids a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But, like there one time it rolled, so it wasn't like lined up properly. So even, like, they had to manually open the hatch because they were off target as well. So, like, the rescue crews didn't know exactly where they were at first. And even just like pulling himself out of his seat and out of the space capsule was, like, incredibly hard because of the effects on his body with gravity now, which is crazy. I did find out the longest space flight. Now I just lost it. Where'd it go?
How lost is it? Too lost.
A Russian cosmonaut, Valery Polakov. I probably butchered that name. I apologize.
Of course, it's a Russian lady.
He was in space. I
The
think
toughest thing on the earth.
I think it's a man, actually, but
That's
that's tough. He was in space for 438 consecutive days aboard
So
the
that's about a year and maybe 3 months.
year and a quarter, year
Oh
and
no,
a
a
third.
lot more than that.
From
That's like-
he was there from January of 94 to March of 95. So he was on the Mir space station, which was the predecessor to the ISS. That's crazy. The longest time an American has been in space is 340 days, which
Wow.
was Scott
2 weeks
Kelly.
short of a year.
I believe it. I think that's the guy that's a twin, and I think they were monitoring his twin on Earth to see the differences of effects of space on someone compared to someone on Earth.
Oh, that's
Which is
so
cool. But over a year in space, wow,
That's a lot. So I guess I kind of threw a curveball with giving you 2 years,
that is a
considering
lot
no
of
one's
a
ever making
curveball,
it
yeah.
that far.
Yeah, that's crazy. There was the story about that guy that was in space when the Soviet Union fell,
Mm-hmm.
and like he came down after it fell. That must have been weird. Just having like a major like event, like happen while you're in space.
Yeah, or there was like a recount of an astronaut that watched 9/11 happen, and they sent like a message back down to the ground, and they were like, "Wow, it doesn't seem like Earth is having a very good day today."
Oh my gosh.
It's like, yeah, you're not kidding, man.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I feel like that would be just a whole nother level of disconnect.
Yeah,
Because like you obviously have
absolutely.
connection up there to
And
the
like
ground.
that's what kind of scares me about being an astronaut
Yeah.
is like the only connection you have is with the person that you're up there with.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important who you pick.
The person you're up there with and the people in mission control that you talk to.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And like the occasional internet connection, but it's really slow, obviously, because it's going up to space. But
They have it.
I believe they do. Because
Wow.
Chris was, I think he was able to send emails to people.
Okay.
But they took like a while to send, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
'cause
I can
it's like
imagine.
probably like dial-up speed internet up there, even slower.
Probably
know.
worse.
Honestly, yeah. But I don't know. Space is crazy.
It is.
It's
It's kind of one of the things I geek out about.
yeah.
But yeah, I
Ju-
think that's all the questions I have for
That's
you
all the
guys.
question. Well, that's actually perfect timing because it's 10 to 9, so we're getting right up to the end of our time slot. But it's been a great show. Thanks for coming on, Justin.
thanks for having
It's
me
always
again.
great having you. We're looking forward to the season starting now that we have a schedule for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
which is-
so am I.
Which
I've
is
been itching to play. I really have.
I imagine that everyone has been kind of antsy to play, and
You have no idea.
and after that you'll be coming off of what, like 3 months of practices at that point.
Yeah, 3 months of practices.
I feel like you can only scrim so much until you go absolutely like you start to go crazy. You're like, I just want to play someone else, you know?
Exactly. And Ligas and I were talking about it yesterday because we actually were watching the DePaul game from last year that we clinched to go to the playoffs,
Okay,
just for a little bit of hockey excitement.
sure.
And we were talking about it, and we were like, the rink that we practice in doesn't feel like the same rink that we were in for that game.
Oh, sure.
And we were like, we really miss that environment.
Yeah.
Just the energy, just the way the ice feels a little bit different. It's almost like the temperature feels a little bit different in there too.
Yeah, I feel like the whole rink has a different atmosphere because I was going to Canlin every Saturday for a adult learner skate class, and even just being there, like it just felt like another level of empty.
It does.
Even though there was
it's
something
sad.
happening on all three rinks, it just still felt like it kind of felt like odd and like almost out of place.
It is because it's just missing the people, the energy, the
Yep.
ambience.
Yeah, Ju-
And I can't wait for
just
it
like
to
that
come
whole
back.
atmosphere. Yeah. Any word on if spectators will be allowed in?
So as of right now, the rink hasn't given us any official word.
Okay.
What it seems like, though, from the youth hockey that's been going on is there are parents that are able to watch. So I would assume that there will be spectators allowed.
Okay.
So to get into the rink, we all have to fill out the rink's specific COVID form.
Sure.
It's kind of like the survey that we do here at Lewis. And I think everybody's probably going to have to do that. You check in before you go in.
Get your
If you
temperature
come in, you
taken.
can't leave.
Sure.
And then I'm sure they'll probably limit our numbers a little bit.
Sure.
But we'll see.
It'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting season regardless.
Regardless,
kind of
it'll be
the-
interesting.
The,
Yeah.
the shortened schedule as well because you lose all a fall semester playing. So
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, they only extended it, I think, an extra 2 or 3 weeks because regionals then gets extended, which then Nationals gets extended.
Yeah.
Which then, if you're looking at it by the time that every independent league finishes up, I mean, as of how it is right now, teams are going to be finishing Nationals in like May.
That's crazy.
Rather than the normal, early to middle April.
Yeah. Wow, that's wild. Well, should
Yeah.
be a good season though, regardless of what happens.
Can't wait.
It'll be great to watch, and we'll be back broadcasting. We have some new equipment as well that we can try out. Some
Excellent.
new toys. So hopefully we'll get some next level broadcasts for you guys. Once again, thanks for coming on the show. Oh, I almost forgot the most important question. Wow, I completely almost forgot this. We've been asking our guests on the current show who they would like to see on the show next week. So that is a question we'll open up to you. Which player from the team would you like to see on the show next week?
Let's see. I kind of want it to be one of the new rookies.
The new rookies? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were thinking about bringing the rookie on along with a vet.
Absolutely.
We think that would kind of ease it a little bit. So any
Totally.
combos that you want to throw out there possibly for us?
I will get back to you on that. We actually
Okay.
have not picked rookie vet pairings yet.
Got it. Okay.
I'm not too sure why I really want to pick a rookie,
Okay.
but we'll see. So there's some pretty interesting ones.
Okay.
I think you'll have fun with them.
Sure. As a goalie, is your rookie like already cemented in to be the rookie goalie, or can you have a different one?
It could be a different one. I don't want to say anything right now. I don't
Sure.
want to jinx anything or
Sure.
give away what my thoughts on the decision might be.
Yeah.
But we're most likely looking at that. So
Sure.
Colton might be a grandpa. Grand vet.
Grand vet Colton. There you go. Well, Justin, once again, thanks for coming on the show. This episode will be up on YouTube once Rebecca gets it edited, as we always like to say, whenever that is. But we'll be back with more hockey talk next Wednesday. Nope. Wow. What day is it? Next Monday. Wow. That was a major words are hard right there. Next Monday from 6 to 9, and in 3 weeks we have our 6-hour-long Tequila DJ special on November 9th from 6 to midnight. So make sure to tune in both next week and then. But for Reid and Rebecca, it's been the Dump and Chase podcast on 88.1. Have a great night.